There's a 3-minute protocol that creates more muscle tension in your glutes than a full hour of cable work. It requires no equipment, no gym, and no rest between exercises. Shaolin monks use the same principle to build strength that defied their body weight. The mechanism behind it is not motivation. It is fiber recruitment biology. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the burn you feel in a cable kickback is not the same thing as the tension that actually builds muscle. And you will have a 3-round protocol you can run right now in this room with zero equipment. When a young monk arrived at the Shaolin temple, one of the first things he was assigned was a tree. Not to climb, not to cut down, to pull out of the ground. And every single day he would wrap his arms around that trunk and strain with everything he had. For months, nothing happened. For years, the tree did not move. But the monk kept pulling day after day, position after position, until the connective tissue, the tendons, and the muscle fibers had adapted so deeply that the feat became possible. Some monks eventually uprooted trees weighing hundreds of pounds with their bare hands. The training principle behind that result was not volume. It was sustained tension under a held position, isometric loading at the end range of the movement, where the muscle is at maximum length and every available fiber is forced to fire simultaneously just to maintain the position. Shaolin monks held wall sits, low stances, and pulling positions for minutes at a time, not seconds. They trained without sets, without reps, without intervals. They were not building the burn. They were building recruitment. Most glute pump work is built on light, short-range rhythmic contraction, cable kickbacks, donkey kicks, banded side steps. These movements feel productive because they produce a burning sensation caused by blood pooling and metabolic byproduct accumulation in the working muscle. The burn is real. The growth signal it produces is not the primary driver of hypertrophy. Research consistently shows that the dominant mechanism behind muscle growth is mechanical tension, the force generated within the muscle fiber when it contracts under load. Here is the structural problem with cable kickbacks and their relatives. They train the gluteus maximus in its shortened position at the top of the kick. When the hip is extended, the muscle is at its briefest length. Research comparing lengthened position training to shortened position training shows 50 to 100% more hypertrophy from the lengthened position. Every cable kickback, every donkey kick, every machine hip extension keeps the glute in the position where it produces the least growth signal. You feel more, you build less. Isometric holds at the end range of a deep hip hinge or squat pattern do the opposite. They park the gluteus maximus at maximum stretch, the exact position where the growth signal fires hardest, and then demand that the muscle hold that position under its own force for an extended period. No momentum, no micro breaks at the top of a rep, no chance for fibers to disengage and recover, just sustained maximal mechanical tension for the duration of the hold. The biological principle is called all-hands-on-deck fiber recruitment. In a dynamic exercise, a hip thrust, a squat, a cable kickback, muscle fibers do not all fire at the same time. They rotate. Some contract while others rest, cycling through the effort so that no single fiber is under continuous demand. This is efficient. It is also why dynamic training has a ceiling on the growth signal it can produce in a single session. In an isometric hold at the end range of a movement, rotation stops. The position must be maintained against gravity continuously. There is no top of the rep where fibers can disengage. There is no momentum to borrow from. If a fiber stops firing, the position collapses. So every available fiber fires simultaneously and sustains that contraction for the entire duration of the hold. The total mechanical tension produced in 30 seconds of an isometric hold at the bottom of a Bulgarian split squat exceeds the cumulative tension produced in an equivalent period of dynamic repetitions. That is the biomechanical consequence of removing fiber rotation from the equation. The second mechanism is time under tension at the precise position where the growth signal is strongest, the bottom of the Bulgarian split squat, the top of the single-leg glute bridge with full hip lock. The deepest point of the wall sits with heel drive. These are the positions where the target muscle is longest, most stretched, and most forcefully recruited. Holding them is not comfortable. That discomfort is not something to manage. It is the biological marker of a genuine growth signal, not the superficial burn of a shortened range pump exercise. Exercise 1. Isometric Bulgarian split squat hold, 30 seconds bottom position. The isometric Bulgarian split squat hold is the centerpiece of this protocol. Set up as you would for a standard Bulgarian split squat, rear foot elevated on a bench or chair, front foot stepped far enough forward that your shin stays close to vertical at the bottom. Lower slowly until your back knee is 1 inch from the floor and your front hip is at maximum depth. Stop there. Do not come back up. Hold this position for 30 seconds. Your front glute is now at maximum stretch under your full body weight with zero opportunity for fiber rotation. Press your front heel into the floor throughout the hold. This cue activates the posterior chain and prevents the quad from taking over. 30 seconds. Switch legs. That is 1 set. Exercise 2. Isometric single leg glute bridge hold. 30 seconds top position. The isometric single leg glute bridge hold trains the gluteus maximus through its stabilization function at full hip extension. Lie on your back. 1 foot flat on the floor, knee bent, the other leg extended straight. Drive through the grounded heel, lift the hips until the body forms a straight line from shoulder to knee, and squeeze the working glute as hard as physically possible at the top. Hold for 30 seconds. The free leg extended straight adds a rotational demand that forces the glute medius and the deep hip stabilizers to co-fire. Do not let the hips drop or rotate. Hold the line. 30 seconds per side. Exercise 3. Isometric wall. Sit with heel drive. 30 seconds parallel position. The isometric wall sit with heel drive closes the protocol and targets the quad to glute integration that most isolation work misses entirely. Find a wall. Slide down until your thighs are parallel to the floor and your knees are at 90 degrees. Now press through your heels, not your toes. Feel the shift from quad dominance to posterior chain engagement. This is the same cue the Shaolin monks used in their low stance holds. Ground the heel, load the posterior chain, sustain the position. Hold for 30 seconds. 3 rounds of all 3 exercises with no rest between movements. Rest 60 seconds between rounds. Total time, under 4 minutes. The Shaolin monk did not pull on the same tree every day because he expected to uproot it in a week. He pulled because he understood that the deepest adaptations, the ones that change the architecture of muscle, tendon, and connective tissue, only occur under sustained demand. Not a burn, not a pump. Sustained mechanical tension at the position where the target muscle is working hardest. 3 exercises, 30 seconds each, 3 rounds, no equipment, no gym, no excuses. Try it right now before the next video, before you close this tab and then drop a comment telling me what you felt after just 1 round. Subscribe to every video on this channel, which is built on the same principle. Function first, the physique follows automatically.